There have always been tensions between America and Great Britain, but around 1805 things really started to heat up. Britain began to kidnap sailors for their ongoing war with Napoleon. Most of the men they kidnapped were just deserters who got tired of the bad pay and treatment that the Royal Navy gave them. But they also took thousands of natural-born Americans. That wasn't the end of it. In June 1807, a British ship called the Leopard intercepted an American ship called the Chesapeake. The Leopard's captain insisted on searching for deserters, but the Chesapeake's captain refused. Outraged, the Leopard's captain opened fire and killed 3 and wounded 18 of the Chesapeake's crew. Word of the attack spread quickly. Secretary of State James Madison was enraged when he heard, and he cried for war. But President Jefferson sought for a different solution. Jefferson decided a trade ban with Britain would be a better solution, so in December 1807, Congress passed the Embargo Act. The main target of this was Great Britain, but the act stopped trade with all foreign countries. Jefferson wanted this embargo because he felt that Britain relied on all Americans for their agricultural goods, but it quickly proved to be ineffective when Britain started trading with Latin America. In the end, it was simply a waste of time and money. Only 2 years after the act was passed, it was repealed. But we still didn't trade with Britain. In 1809, Congress passed a law that permitted trade with either France or Britain, depending on who stopped their trade restrictions first. Napoleon took this opportunity and tricked us. He began stealing our ships and selling them. Madison became aware of this, but didn't take any significant action because Britain still remained a more serious problem. In spring of 1812, Madison decided war with Britain was inevitable. Britain had already ended its seizing and searching of ships, but unfortunately the war had already begun. It didn't officially start, however, until July of 1812, when General Hull led an army from Detroit to Canada. He quickly surrendered after arrival, however, because he saw that he wouldn't be able to defeat the great Tecumseh and his warriors. When General William Harrison found out about Hull's miserable defeat, he led an army to Canada and was also defeated. These losses brought on the realization that Canada was untouchable until Lake Erie was captured from the Briton. In light of this realization, Oliver Perry was ordered to take back the lake. He assembled his fleet and deployed them. The British soon advanced and a bloody battle began. In the end, Perry won and the British and their Native American allies retreated. Perry's fleet intercepted them, and so began the Great Battle of the Thames. Perry won, and the great leader Tecumseh was dead. In August 1814, British troops landed in Chesapeake Bay to burn D.C. to the ground. They arrived and quickly cleared a path to the city and burned down almost every government-related building, including the Capitol and the President's Mansion. Surprisingly, however, Britain didn't hold on to D.C. They simply marched to take Baltimore. But America was waiting. They blocked the harbor, barricaded the roads, and had about 13,000 militiamen. The British men still proceeded to attack, but were kept from even entering the city by the militiamen and their determination to stop the British. An epic assault was also dropped onto the harbor by Fort McHenry. This battle became one of the most inspirational victories in American history. It showed that America was here to stay. While the Battle of Baltimore took place, British General Sir George led his own army of more than 10,000 troops to Plattsburgh. This invasion was stopped in one swift effort when an American fleet in Lake Champlain rained terror to the fleet on the beach. After those two miserable defeats, Britain decided to end the war. They felt as if war was unnecessary and a waste of time and money. In December 1814, the Treaty of Ghent was established. It didn't change any land borders or give any rewards. It simply enforced peace between America and Britain. But unfortunately, news of this treaty didn't reach New Orleans in time. Redcoats marched into the city and hundreds were slaughtered by the Americans. In light of all this bloodshed brought on in the War of 1812, the Hartford Convention was brought together. They proposed a list of amendments to ensure that a war like this would never again happen. At the end of the war, most Americans were proud to be citizens in the land of the free. We gained a lot of respect from nations all around the globe after these amazing victories. And while we couldn't foresee what would come next, One thing was known for sure. America was destined for greatness. The different parts. What are you recording for?